All right, well, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Matt DeYoung at ITS Partners, and I want to simply start by saying thank you to every one of you for taking some time out of your morning to attend the webcast. I have a little less than 30 minutes of material to cover, and so with that, let's go ahead and get started this morning. I want to start quickly just by giving a quick overview of ITS. We're an engineer-centric organization focused exclusively on Symantec security, endpoint, and mobility solutions. We're a Symantec National and Platinum partner, and we were also the Symantec Partner of the Year in 2011. We work with customers all throughout the U.S., and ITS Ventures also works with customers in Canada. And really the primary reason I tell you this is just simply so you're aware of the knowledge and expertise we have when it comes to Symantec products. I have just really a few points to cover this morning, which include what's showing on the screen here. As you can see, the focus of the webcast is going to be predominantly around support, but I want to try and approach that from a little bit of a different angle. A common notion when it comes to support is that support is really only for the times when something stops working. And I really want to expand on that today and then also show how ITS can help. You can also see at the very end there, at the end of the webcast, I'm going to give just a little bit of information about a promotion that we are doing around ITS support. So definitely stay tuned for that information. So with that, I want to start out by just showing a few charts based on user feedback. During the registration, we asked the question, do you feel you're using your Symantec products to their full capability? Another way to put that, are you getting the best bang for your buck, if you will? And there were four choices that you had to select from. Yes, absolutely, I think so, I'm not sure, and nope, not at all. Based on those who responded, this is how it breaks down. As you can see, there are many who really aren't sure, or they knew for a fact that their Symantec software is not being used to its full capability. Now notice we didn't ask you, is your software working correctly? That's not the issue. In many cases it is actually working correctly. However, only portions of it are actually working and the other portions are not being used. To maybe expand on that a little bit more, really only 16% say, yep, we are 100% absolutely sure that we're getting all we can from the software. And really, I think that creates a bit of an issue, and that's what we really want to talk about and address how we can help. So based on that feedback, as well as the other feedback we've received from customers, when we transition into support and how ITS can help, I think it's fairly safe to say most everyone could fit into one of three different support buckets, is what I'm going to call them. In bucket one are those who would like to know more about the software. They want to know that they're getting the most that they can from the software. They're getting the most bang for their buck. We understand this because ultimately it means you may be missing useful benefits the software offers to you. You want to take part and use those features. We had one customer where we assisted in implementing Client Management Suite, and during that we primarily focused on imaging. At that time, imaging was the primary concern, and that was really all the time that we had was to focus on imaging. A few months down the road, though, that customer came to us and said, hey, you know what, we need help with patching, but we're not sure how Client Management Suite can help with that. Can you help us? Unfortunately, in that case, the customer had purchased a support contract from ITS, and we were able to help them throughout that entire process. But that's just one example. There's numerous other examples. In several cases, we see 2 weeks after we work with a customer through a professional service engagement, 2 weeks after we leave, they give us a call and say, I know I learned a lot while you guys were here, but it was also kind of like drinking from a fire hydrant, and I don't completely remember how to do this process. Can you help me out? We've had other calls where customers will say, hey, can you help us out with some automation policies, getting that set up and getting reports from those automation policies. Obviously, workflow is a popular one where customers want processes to be modified or changed. Service desk is another big one. So there's all these different areas where there's so much that is capable, the software is capable of doing. They just need a little bit of help and guidance with that. And these are all relevant examples of those who might fit into bucket number 1. Bucket number 2 then would contain those who purchased the software. It was initially set up correctly, and for the most part, every part of the features, every feature of the software is being used. It's being used correctly. However, the software doesn't really fit into the processes within your environment, which obviously causes frustrations. When it comes specifically to Symantec endpoint management, the Altiris product set, our director of support likes to say there's 5 ways to do things in Altiris. Another way to say it is, hey, let us know what frustrations you have so we can work through them and either ease or completely eliminate those frustrations. We had one customer who had used a competitive product prior to using the Symantec product. And with that, they had that mindset that the competitive product required them to have, and also developed their processes around that specific competitive product. When they began using the Symantec product, they were still stuck in that former mindset. Our support team worked closely with them and were able to successfully merge the Symantec product into their processes, ultimately making them a happy customer. In a different example, we had a customer who needed some help pulling data and reports, and they weren't able to pull the reports that they were accustomed to pulling. They called our support team at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon asking for help. Saying, hey, we need these reports before the end of the business day. Can you help us out? Our support team immediately began working with them, and we were able to help them build the reports they needed and supply them with the information before close of business that specific day. So in both cases, our support team was able to help the customer out, make things work for them that maybe previously hadn't worked out too well. And then the third bucket is that traditional support. I think everybody at some point or another finds himself in this bucket where the traditional support of something's broke, something's not working, and we need help fixing it. And obviously the most important thing when you find yourself in this bucket is that you can call someone and immediately get a hold of them to have your question answered or to have that assistance that is needed. So really, whether you fit into the first, second, third bucket in some way or another, I think it's very safe to say that there's a loss in productivity in some way or another. Ultimately, you still have a job to do, and you need to find a way to do it. But if you fall into the first bucket of not utilizing all the features of the software, everything that's available to you to use, you may be using a more manual process, a more labor-intensive process, or you may be using a different software to accomplish what's needed. Ultimately, your productivity goes down, your costs go up, when really they don't have to if you're getting the 100% capability out of the software that you have. In the second bucket, there's also are looking for that additional productivity, again, is going down because it appears that the software that you have, that Symantec software, is a misfit in your environment. And that may not be the case. It just may mean that we have to make some adjustments to it. But again, unless we know there's that loss in productivity for you and those additional frustrations. And either way, no matter what bucket you may find yourself in, that's where we can help, and that's where we want to help. ITS is much more than just the traditional support of, hey, it's broke, can you help me fix it? We go above and beyond by making sure you're using everything available to you. And additionally, to the extent that we're able, we want to make sure that the software is not only working, but working in your environment with your processes, and in the end, making your job just a little bit easier. Our support agreements are flexible, and we're confident that we can help you out. Just a few additional details around ITS support. First off, we are a member of the Symantec Technical Assistance Partner Program. We offer 8-hour business SLAs and provides you with a dedicated phone number and email for whenever you have an issue. You see, ITS support has over 40 engineers who are experts in all things Symantec. We've successfully conducted and completed over hundreds of professional service engagements, working with customers both on-site and remotely to implement new software, but then also to ensure that that software meets the challenges you face daily. And by using this expertise and this experience, we're able to help you really no matter what bucket you fall into. As I said when I started, I just have a few minutes of material to cover, and so as we're nearing the end here, I first just want to say thanks again for taking time to attend the webcast. But then also I want to give you some information about an offer that we have around support. For this quarter, from basically now until the end of the calendar year, if you purchase 40 hours of support from ITS, we're going to throw an additional 10 hours, so an additional 25% support hours. To say it maybe a little differently, you get 50 hours of support for the price of 40 hours. If you want to take part of this offer, and again, this is only going to be available until the end of the calendar year, December 31, 2012, shoot us an email at on the screen right there. We'll get you set up with your 50 hours of support. For those who may not be watching the current live webcast but are going to be watching the recorded webcast in the days ahead, this applies to you as well. So again, email us. As I mentioned earlier, our support agreements are flexible, and we're confident that you'll see the value in ITS support. So once again, thanks for taking time to attend the webcast today, and like I said, take advantage of our support promotion. It's only good until the end of the calendar year, so let us know as soon as possible. Thanks, and have a great day.